Good evening. You're locked into another episode of the Red Sea podcast. Liverpool take on Porto in a Champions League tie at Anfield tomorrow night, with qualification already wrapped up, long ago wrapped up. So this is almost a kind of a free hit for those fringe players to come in and stake a claim in the upcoming fixture on the weekend against Southampton. We're going to assess what it looks like for the rest of the groups across the Champions League, just to see who Liverpool's potential next round group games and semi-finals, quarter-finalists, last 16s could potentially look like. We're the Red Sea podcast. It's Porto versus Liverpool. Let's get into that intro.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Got Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
Yes, guys, good evening. And tonight we are joined by my co-host, my main man, my co-D, Southern Scouser. It's just the OGs tonight, as some of our colleagues are a bit under the weather with this horrible flu that's going around everywhere. So it's just me and you tonight fighting fit. How you doing, mate?
Yes, mate. Yeah, to be fair, I was ill last week, so I've only just got over it myself. So you're spot on there. But yeah, looking forward to the game. It's rare that you get to watch a Champions League match with your feet up and nothing riding on it, really. But as you rightly said in the preview, you know, there's chances to give other people the chance. We saw Tyler Morton come on against Arsenal. Could he get his first start in the senior team in a non-Carabao Cup match potentially? So yeah, I'm excited to see what it brings tomorrow.
I totally agree with you. I mean, it's an interesting one because Liverpool are in kind of the position of luxury, really, where we can afford to rest pretty much everybody. And it's an opportunity for these kind of fringe players, as you'd say, to come in and stake a claim. I mean, we go into the Premier League tie, the 3:00 kickoff at Anfield versus Southampton. And ultimately, we don't know who's going to play. We don't know who's going to play tomorrow. You know, everybody's trained, everybody's fit, apart from the already, you know, casualties that were already on the list. But it's a chance to give players a rest. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a forward line of that consists of Origi, Minamino, and Jota. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll get into that very, very shortly. So, as we're playing Porto, let's go over the head-to-heads.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've actually never lost to Porto. So they are what do you normally say, the Norwich of Europe, the whipping boys, you say, don't you?
There are whipping boys. There are European whipping boys. We've got our Premier League whipping boys, which are Norwich, and our European whipping boys, which are Porto.
Yeah, so we've played them 9 times. We've won 6, drawn 3. Obviously, we played them in this year's group stage already. A nice 5-1 win away from home, which was very, very, very straightforward. Other than that, we obviously beat them 4-1 last season. 2 seasons ago, the year we won the Champions League. That was 4-1 away. And the last time Porto visited Anfield was the first leg of that quarterfinal, which was a 2-0 victory. So, yeah, won the last 3. Other than that, they barely even scored a goal against us. You know, it's been 5-1, 4-1, 2-0, 5-0. You know, it's really pretty much all Liverpool in this fixture. So it's interesting, though, because I don't think we've played them in a dead rubber. So all of those games are quarterfinals or, you know, an early group stage games that you have to play your best team and go for it. But to be fair, like you say, tomorrow, it's interesting because Klopp obviously had his pre-match interview today, and he kind of got asked the question, is it a bit like the Michelin game from a couple of years ago where, you know, there was nothing riding on it. You'd already won the group. You played Jota and he got injured, and Klopp's response was, you know, that could happen to anybody at any time. You know, we respect the integrity of the competition. You can't just drop the entire 11 and then throw them all out against Southampton, which I think you probably could, but that was what he said. So I agree with you. I think you're going to see one or two, the likes of Jota potentially again, but I think, Salah, Mane, Van Dijk, possibly even Alisson, I'd be very surprised. And Henderson and Robertson, I think will probably miss this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I just, you know me, I like rotation. Yeah, I'm a fan of rotation, especially in games like this. I'd rotate the whole fucking 11.
I would.
I would rotate the whole 11. I would say to Verge, put your feet up, son. Yeah. I'd say to Gomez, Canate, go on, boys. There's your Champions League night. Nico, jump in at fullback, son. Costas, obviously, Costas has got to play. But you could even turn around and say, I'm not sure of the fitness of James Milner at the moment. You could even say to Milner, go and play fullback, go on Nico, go and play right wing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And ultimately, we've qualified, we're top of the group. This so-called group of death. We've walked through it unscathed. We've not had anybody lay a glove on us, really. So you can afford to rotate the whole entire side. Great. Let's just get to a couple of these comments as well. 17 goals. So ultra 3-star swordsman. 17 goals. Mate, that's ridiculous. That's
the 4 away meetings. They're just absolutely trounced, aren't they? But yeah, Ryan Mental's in as well.
Yeah, big shout out to you, bro. Big shout out to you. Look, here we go. Here we go. Loving the confidence.
David/Stevens in. He's our thumbnail person that does all the artwork for us. So.
Big shout out to you, mate. Big shout out to you. But no, I just think to myself, we talk about free hits.
Yeah.
It's almost like a free hit, but without being a free hit. Do you know what I mean? You could turn around and say to the kids, this is what a Champions League night at Anfield's all about, under the lights. Go and suck it up, boys.
I agree, because there's obviously a rule in Europe where you have to have at least 8 homegrown players on your squad. And a lot of teams tend to just chuck a load of people in that are never really realistically going to play. So there's a good 8 youth players on our Champions League squad that could probably all start tomorrow. Even the likes of Nat Phillips, that isn't really a youngster, but he's more than capable of playing in this game. He played away to Leipzig, I think, last season and was absolutely fine. So yeah, I'd like to see, maybe even Cade Gordon get a run out. Why not? What better chance? And Porto are pretty average. Even if they was to nick a 1-0 win at Anfield, does it really matter? It's all about, let's avoid injuries. Anybody that needs a bit of fitness, you've got 5 substitutes anyway. And yeah, what better chance than to give, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds an experience of a match of this kind of caliber, because realistically, they're probably not going to get another chance to play at this level for at least another 12 months if we smash our group again next season.
I totally agree. And ultimately, we look at a player like Trent, for example, arguably made his name in the Champions League.
Yeah,
Hoffenheim. What a free kick. It was unreal.
The end of Klein's career, wasn't it?
After that, it was Klein, see you later, mate. But do you know what I mean?
Decline.
I just think, decline. I just think that it's a chance for these youngsters to not necessarily come in and stake a claim, because the Liverpool team now certainly the first 11 is so strong. Yeah, we've not been in a position where we've had such a strong 11 for a number of years. And again, early on in Trent's, start of his career of Liverpool, that 11 wasn't where it is now. So, there's nothing stopping us to rotating just to protect those 11s, that 11. So absolutely. Let's look at it subjectively, because we're through. Let's delve into some of the games tonight. Chelsea versus Juventus. Now, I know all the Chelsea fans are going to be creaming their pants about Reece James's display tonight, and he was outstanding. Like total respect.
He's a top player.
He is a top player. He's a top player. And I was tweeting out basically saying that this is Lampard and Gerrard all over again, but at fullback. It really is for a number of reasons. That this selection dilemma for Gareth Southgate
Mm.
could potentially define his time as England manager. He has to find a way, by hook or by crook, of getting both of those boys
Oof.
in that team at the same time. It has to happen. And I'm not saying you do it this World Cup, this Winter World Cup that we're going to have, next year. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it needs to happen then, but after that, there needs to be a change in the guard. Carl Walker isn't getting any younger. Yeah,
That's fair.
and again, this isn't to say that Carl Walker is not a sensational right-sided centre back in the role that he's taken on. But why can't Reece play there, and why couldn't Trent play attacking fullback? Why
It's just
can that happen?
interesting. It's interesting because I think it's a really good, interesting point that you make. I think the only reason Kyle Walker is in there is because he's probably the fastest player in the England squad.
And Harry Maguire shit.
And Harry Maguire is not. So is not the quickest player. So I think he's the insurance policy.
100%.
Does Reece James have that kind of pace? I would say not. He's not slow, but he's not Kyle Walker. Personally, I've seen Reece James in a back three, and I've seen him as a wing back, and I think wing back is his better role. I know a load of Chelsea fans will completely and utterly disagree with me, but that's just my opinion from watching him play. And I think Trent is a right wing back in a back five perfectly, or because we play in such a way with Fabinho pretty much becoming that back three, he can do a very similar wing back role for Liverpool. But I really like your comparison between the Gerrard Lampard, because obviously in midfield, you can play two, you can play three. So you could fit them both in. A right back or a left back, it's very, very difficult to play two. And you've seen Southgate struggle to even decide who to go in the squad. I think he took originally for the Euros, he had four right backs, and then obviously Trent got that really injury in that warm-up game, unlucky injury. So he didn't go. So it's a tricky one. Southgate signed a new deal. He's here till 2024. He's not going to change his formation. He played a back five against Albania, so he's not going to change that up at any time. So the only way they both get in is if, like you say, Kyle Walker drops out, or James probably plays in that back three. But I just don't know. I just don't see both of them in the same 11 personally. I think it's one or the other.
But this is the problem, and it comes down to the caliber of the coach. And again, I don't want to go off on an England tangent, but it does come down to the caliber of the coach.
Yeah,
there has to be a way. There has to be a way to fit both of those boys into that team, because whilst they both occupy the same position, they both possess very different skill sets. And they can both do the same job as each other, but not as good as one another. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
No one can sit here and tell me, and not being biased, that you would have Reece James over Trent in an attacking capability. You're never in a gazillion years going to sit here and convince me or anybody in world football that you are going to take Reece James over Trent attacking wise. I see what Reece James is doing. He's scoring goals. He's whipping in. He's whipping in balls. He's doing phenomenally well in terms of that respect. He really, really is. But Trent is an outstanding right back in terms of his attacking qualities. There is not anybody who is on that wavelength currently. If you look at the amount of assists he's currently got this season, it is unreal. He does not stop. Whereas some might turn around and say that, and we may have to concede on this one, that Reece James is more defensively sound at times, and in certain situations, we may have to concede on that one. But this is why I feel we need to find a way to get both of those boys in that team. I mean, looking at Chelsea's performance tonight, Hakim Ziyech had a decent game. Loftus-Cheek, when he came on, looked good. You look at Chilwell looked good. The centre-backs didn't really look troubled. And I just think to myself that Juventus were crap. Like, respectfully to Chelsea's performance, Juventus were that bad.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. And Chelsea strolled through. And you look at some of the other people that have gone through into the next round as well, and you think this is hotting up. This is really hotting up.
Yeah.
Because all the teams we expect to go through are going through to the latter, or going through to the next stage of the Champions League.
It's an interesting one. It's a great point I wanted to come on to. Obviously, tonight we have seen half of the group stages reach the 5th match day. So I wanted to kind of have a little look at potentially who we could play, because we've obviously won our group already. We can't play English teams. So starting with that Chelsea group, there's a couple of, I guess you could call them sleeping giants for now, because Juventus and Barcelona, I would say, currently fall into that category. So in this group, it looks like Juventus are going to be in the runners-up pot, so we could potentially face them. And me and you had a quick little chat about Juventus off air, and
light work.
We're pretty confident. Chiesa
light work
could be interesting, but yeah, they're
light work.
They're struggling domestically. It's an aging squad, as we suggested. This group is one of them groups you get, which is the opposite of a group of death. Famous last words when the runner-up of this group knocks us out. But Lille, Salzburg, Sevilla, and Wolfsburg. Look how close this group is. They're all beating each other. Anybody could win this group, I'm pretty sure. Still, potentially Wolfsburg maybe can only sneak through in second. But again, you would expect Liverpool over 2 legs to make pretty light work of any teams on that particular list. Group, trying to do my alphabet backwards now. Group F, you've got obviously Man United at the top of the group. Had a good result tonight under Michael Carrick. Read into that what you will, but we'll see when the Premier League rolls back around again where they are. But I mean, obviously Atalanta, a club that we know fairly well, are not done yet in that group. I think they've got to play Villarreal on the last day, so that'll be interesting. Winner of that one will probably come second and could be a potential opponent for us. So that's a potential. Obviously, you can't play the English teams if Man United somehow bottle that one, which wouldn't put it past them. And yeah, the other sleeping giant, which I mentioned, could we see Barcelona potentially miss out on the last day by a point if Benfica sneak through? That would be an interesting
Barcelona in the Europa League. Like,
Can you imagine?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I'm trying to work out who they've actually got in the last match day. If it's Barca Benfica, that could be interesting.
No, it'll be Dynamo Kiev. They play Benfica tonight.
So is it Benfica Bayern tonight? Was it?
Yeah. Right, It was Benfica Barca tonight.
Oh, okay.
So Bayern will have Dynamo Kiev.
Okay, cool. So I mean, Dynamo Kiev only lost by 1 goal to Bayern tonight, who have obviously walked that group. So Barcelona in the seat at the moment, potentially in the runners-up pot. But yeah, could see
be in the mud? Could be in the mud on match day 6.
Oh, there we go. So Ultra Swordsman is in the comments saying Barca have Bayern on the last day. So
do they?
I don't know.
So they may have already played Dynamo then.
Yeah. So if Barca lose to Bayern and Benfica beat Kiev, which looks pretty likely, Barcelona could be in the Euro. I mean, that's actually, you'd put your money on that happening, wouldn't you? Bayern aren't going to lose to Barca, and Benfica will probably beat Kiev if they know they go through if they win.
Yeah. So Bayern are going. Do you know what? Bayern are going to make an example of this Barca team. They're going to make an example.
They're not going to roll over.
They're not going to roll over. The Bayern are going to go there and say, "Yeah, all right, let's do this."
So we probably could have Benfica then in the knockout stages as a runner-up, because I don't see Barca getting out of that group if that is the fixture list to follow. There are obviously the other 4 groups as well. They're not quite
history of Benfica. We've got history of Benfica as well.
Absolutely.
I remember when they put us out of the Champions League about
06.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I remember that, and that hurt.
Yeah, that was the year that we were champions.
Yeah,
is it that stupid gold kit? Like, oh, look at us.
Yeah, is it Sal? There was their striker. Simao. And wasn't he linked with us at the time as well? Heavily linked with us.
Yeah, he was.
Simao. And did he score?
He scored an absolute screamer. I think
Yeah,
it was
he
at the
did.
top end, top bins.
Yeah, he did. He
I
scored
think it
an
was 3-0
absolute.
on aggregate or something. I think they
Yeah,
absolutely battered us. But
they battered us. He scored an. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Ryan Mental, massive shout out
yeah,
to you.
but
He scored an absolute belter. I remember it, and I cried that night. I was like,
I mean,
why won't Benitez sign him? Why won't he sign him? Like,
that was
I
the
remember.
season. That was the season where we'd finished 5th in the league and hadn't
Mm,
technically qualified for the Champions League, even though we'd won
yeah,
it. So we had
yeah.
to go into like the very first round of qualifying from like July.
July.
And
Yeah,
we
we were
had to play
playing
like
against
TNS
Kazakh.
and
Yeah,
ridiculously long. So we'd pretty much played as many games as we'd have had to play to get to
Yeah.
the final in the previous season to even
Yeah.
reach the I think it was the quarterfinals of the last 16. So
Yeah.
you're spot on there. But I mean, in terms of the other 4 groups, they're not quite as clear cut because obviously there's 2 match days left. This one, I mean, to be fair to Sheriff, they're in with a shout, but you would think Inter or Madrid will be the runner-up in that particular group. And again, I know Madrid knocked us out last year, but
I'd take Madrid.
I would
Madrid
take
right
Madrid.
now. I want
Full
Madrid.
strength Liverpool.
I want Madrid.
Mm.
Because the revenge
Revenge
sword
tour.
needs to ramble on. I want, I'm calling it now. I want Madrid. If they're playing in a stupid poxy training ground, freaking stadium again, we go there and we park them fuckers off, like literally, and just turn around and say, yeah, what now? Like I want Madrid.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I'd love to have them and get some revenge. This one is an interesting group. Ajax surprisingly absolutely walked the floor with it. Dortmund, obviously without Haaland for most of this season with that injury, he's out probably till after Christmas. So he could be back for the knockouts if they do sneak through. But yeah, a couple of games left. Sporting have not finished either in that group. So again, you'd probably want to avoid Dortmund because of the Haaland factor. But again, I think a full strength Liverpool should be able to beat any team on that particular list.
Well, okay? So what? You're not fancying us to pepper Dortmund even with Haaland in their team.
I think we would. I just think, given the choice, if Haaland's picked up some form, I think February is the time the last 16 comes around, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. He's a danger man. He scores against anybody, doesn't he? So I don't. Is this the year where the away goals don't count anymore?
That's correct.
So it's not as bad.
Yeah, but still, tell me I'm a madman. Yeah, but we've got Virgil van Dijk.
We have.
So Haaland can come. Come. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. You want as the best defender in world football, you want to challenge yourself against the best strikers in world football.
Yeah.
He pockets everybody in the Premier League. Absolutely. So if it's gonna be anybody who really wants to prove a point, bring on Haaland. Get pocketed, bruv.
Do you know, because
take a couple zeros off that price tag.
Because Netherlands were playing Norway in a World Cup qualifier in this last break that we've just had, and I switched it on thinking, oh, Van Dijk v Haaland, and then they were like, oh, Haaland's been out the whole season with a hernia or whatever it might be. I missed that opportunity to watch them against each other, but yeah, potentially we could see that. So obviously we'll come back to Liverpool's group in a second, but Group A, PSG or Man City. It's going to be one of those two. Obviously, we can't play the English teams who, to be fair, are all smashing it. I know Man United kind of aren't, but they are top. All English teams are top of their group. So could we potentially see an all-English quarterfinal or all English semi-finals, which we've seen many a time as well?
Well, this just shows the shit. And do you know what? I had a conversation with somebody. I remember it like yesterday, and this was probably about 3 years ago. Oh, La Liga is so much stronger than the Premier League, and the strength of La Liga. I was like, shut up, you're talking S. I was like, if you look at historically over the last 10, 15 years, how many English teams have gone into the latter stage of the Champions League, in terms of how many of them have gone through, we're wiping the floor with La Liga. We were wiping the floor with them. Wiping the floor. Yes, La Liga have had a lot of winners in terms of Barcelona were dominant, Real Madrid were dominant, But in terms of the amount of teams that we had progressing through to the latter stages, Chelsea getting through regularly, Liverpool getting through regularly, Manchester United getting through regularly, then Manchester City coming in, Arsenal at stages were getting through. we've been the consistent force in terms of Europe. What's now occurring is that because our teams are so strong over the last probably 4 years, yeah, we're seeing us go through to the latter stages. You know, all English final, Tottenham and Liverpool. Liverpool go on to win it. You know, then Bayern win it. Then another English side come through and we win it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I honestly feel whoever it may be, another English side is going to win this year's Champions League. I hope and I pray as I stand here that Chelsea don't retain it. Because if Chelsea retain the Champions League, we will never hear the end of it. We will never, ever hear the end of it if Chelsea retain that trophy. Because if you heard them singing today, yeah, they were champions of Europe and all of this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, guys, yeah, we're on number 6. We're on number 6. There's levels to this, yeah. But I fancy us to win the Champions League this year.
It's going to be interesting. It's a great point that you make. In the last 15 years, all the top 6, you know, historical. I don't know historical, but there's the top 6 that you refer to in terms of the Super League teams. They've all reached at least one Champions League final since in the last 15 years. So I completely agree with you. You know, yes, you might have had AC Milan win the Champions League or Barca or Bayern kind of flying the flag for their country by themselves in each individual year. But the amount of times you have got 4 out of 8 quarterfinalists are English, 3 out of 4 semi-finalists have been English. And like you say, we've had all English finals. Man United, Chelsea City, you know, Liverpool, Spurs. So there's 3 all English finals within the last sort of 10 years as well. So yeah, I agree with you. I think I don't see anybody from any country other than Bayern Munich that will trouble the English teams this season.
Respectfully to Bayern. I think the English teams are too strong. If Bayern come up against the Chelsea, yeah, Chelsea park off Bayern because Chelsea are, again, respectfully to all the other teams in the competition, Chelsea are strong defensively. Yeah, Bayern are an attacking team. I don't look at their, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. Someone may be able to tell me that I'm wrong, but I don't look at them domestically and think that they can't be got at. They can be got at. Liverpool went to the Allianz and absolutely tore them a new one.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've defensively improved since then. I think they've defensively declined since then.
I mean, they got battered. Was it like 6-7-0 by Mönchengladbach a couple of weeks back as well?
That's what I'm saying. I don't look at them and think they're defensively sound. If they come up against a Chelsea, they will have problems. Love that. They will have problems. If they come up against us in the form that we are in, defensively, they will have huge problems against us in the striking form that we're in. The problem is with us is that they've got phenomenal strikers as well. They've got Lewandowski.
Yeah, he's quite good, isn't he?
He's not bad. That kid. So you know, we might have problems as well. But I just think, and again, City could dispatch them. The other team, which I feel possesses a problem attacking wise, is PSG. They've got Messi. Yeah, they've got Messi. They've got Mbappe. You know,
they won't have Neymar because he has his sister's birthday around February time, so he's always
missing. Yeah, he's always missing. Yeah, but Neymar's in there. Do you know what I mean? They've got some players in there, like respectfully.
Yeah.
So you know, on their day, they can attack and tear apart a team, but defensively, they ain't great. So this year has got an English team's name on it. It's got an English team's name on it. I can't see anybody else outside of the Premier League winning the Champions League. I just hope and pray it's us.
Could it be?
Mate, I'm calling it now. Number 7. Now, here's the question. And guys in the audience and in the comments, are you taking second place in the Premier League? So you concede, let's say you concede the Premier League to Chelsea. Yeah, let's say Chelsea win the Prem because I don't want City to win another Premier League. So let's say Chelsea win the Prem, but we win the Champions League. Are you taking that?
Bite your hand off.
You take it.
100,000,000%.
What, for 7?
Yeah.
Oh,
Every day of the week.
okay. The other thing is, are you taking the Premier League? Yeah.
Hmm.
And Chelsea retain the Champions League?
That's a harder question. What, and Chelsea beat us in the Champions League final?
No. We get to the semis.
Okay.
We get to the semis. We have a sustained run. We get to the semis. We don't even encounter Chelsea on the way there.
Okay.
Chelsea go through and they win the Champions League. Yeah. But we win the league on points on the last day and take it away from Chelsea.
Okay, so it's semis and win
League,
the Prem,
win
or
the Prem.
second and win the Champions League.
And second and win the Champions League.
Do you know,
but
I've
Chelsea
always
win the
been,
Prem.
I don't know why, but I've always been in the minority in this question. I've always preferred the Champions League to the Prem, and I think the reason
I know why.
I'll tell you my
I've been the
reason.
same.
I'll be interested to tell you. My
I've been the
reason
same.
is probably both of us, during our fandom, during our lives of Liverpool, we've been so far away from winning the Prem. It's been such an unrealistic target that it's never really entered my head. Whereas the Champions League, 2005, I was 14. I was like, fuck me, this is amazing. And then, Torres, Gerrard days, Cal, special nights, Inter Milan, Real Madrid 4-0. There's a kind of love affair with the Champions League happened. And then 2007, we get to the final again. Breaks my heart. 2019, we win it after losing it the year before. Champions League, for me, will always be the number one competition. And the Prem is amazing. And the fact that we hadn't won it meant that for a little while, the Prem overtook the Champions League for that season. I was like, I want the Prem now because we've won the Champions League again. I want the Prem. But going forward, now we've got that monkey off our back. Champions League for me is always going to be the number one trophy. And I would imagine you're similar.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I am, and I have been for a long while, only because the same as what you said. The Premier League was unthinkable until Jurgen Klopp arrived. It was unthinkable, and even in the early Klopp days, you thought to yourself, "It's not, we're close," but City are just that much better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? City have just got that much more money.
There's always been another team dominating domestically, hasn't there?
There's always been a but, and it's always been City. It's always been a but, yeah? So I always thought our best chance of big silverware, time silverware, is a when we look at how our fandom and how we've been with the club and so on and so forth, it's always the big nights we remember have always been Champions Leagues. If you look at how deep in the competition we've gone in our time supporting the club, no other team in the Premier League, bar probably Manchester United, could sit there and rival what we've witnessed as Liverpool fans in terms of Champions League. No other fans can rival that. Yeah, we've had in my lifetime in terms of Champions League, I've seen 4 finals. Yeah.
4. Am I forgetting one? 05. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. 05, 07, 18, and 19, isn't it?
And 19.
Oh yeah.
I've seen 4 finals, 2 wins.
It's not a bad record, is it?
I've seen
must be a few semis in there as well. Chelsea,
probably 3 semis.
Because there's definitely 3 or 4 semi-final defeats in there as well.
Is it 3 or 4? Chelsea
at least once.
Is it not Chelsea twice semis? Was
that
Chelsea quarters?
Well, that might be in the quarterfinal with that crazy 4-4 second leg.
That might have been a quarter when Alex scored the absolute banger and Ryan Babel scored an absolute banger, and then Alex scored another banger, and Ryan Babel was like, "Here, take that banger." Do you know what I mean? It was a ding dong. So we've seen quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, wins in Europe. Yeah. So when we talk about, and this is what I say to other rival fans in the Premier League, we are the darlings of Europe. We are the kings of Europe. As far as English teams are concerned, we are the kings of Europe. Even in past, even in recent times, we are the absolute kingpins when it comes to British English team exports in
Well,
Europe.
we,
No
we
one
have
comes close.
we have more European Cups than the rest of the top six combined.
No one comes close. And what rival fans always do is go, oh, it's history. Sometimes, even if you look at recent history, nobody comes close. You don't come close. Like, I understand Chelsea have won, what are they now? 2 Champions Leagues in recent history.
Yeah,
But we've been to more finals. We've been
yeah,
to more
by a
finals
long
than
way.
you. Yeah, we've been to more semis. We've been to more quarters. We've done better in the Champions League than you have. And over that period of time, we've qualified for it less times.
Yeah,
That's the joke. We've qualified for it less times. And when we're bloody in it, we
we usually go for it.
we rip it up. Every time we've been in it, we rip it up.
Whereas
So,
we're Arsenal in it 16 consecutive years and got to one
and done
final.
and done fuck all. So,
What's the point of that?
so ultimately, for me personally, you know, Liverpool and European nights. You talk about Anfield under the lights.
Yeah,
You talk about, you know, those nights are legendary. Yeah, and property of Liverpool Football Club and Liverpool Football Club only. No other team, I don't think in my lifetime, maybe famous last words, but in my lifetime, will rival or top what Liverpool do in Europe. There's just a reason why, you know, I said this to, shout out to Dapper from Never a Foul. Yeah. So respect to him, right? I had this conversation with him before, and I said, it's not only about your squad in terms of the Champions League, it's your club, right from the hierarchy to the manager to the players to the supporters, even down to the dinner lady. Yeah. Every one of them has to be on the same page to win the Champions League. Yeah. And once you get that one, yeah, it's a domino effect. You'll win more and more and more and more.
it's
and more.
very rare that you'll get a winner that's never won it before. There's these dynasty teams that have won it. You know, they win it for the third time, the fourth, the fifth, the second. So, when was the last time a team won the Champions League for the first time? I might be wrong, but I don't think it's been recently.
No, it's been a long while. There are some anomalies in there, like your Nottingham Forests and
you're going back a bit though.
Do you know what I mean? Your anomalies.
I mean, like you say, you look at the recent winners. You know, Chelsea for the second time, Bayern for the fifth, sixth time, Liverpool
Us for the sixth
time. You know, every year it seems to be a team that's won it before. Yeah, Madrid.
You go further back.
Like
United.
Man City are on the list of non-winners, and you know, you mentioned Daps there, and I think I saw the clip that you mean. His response was in agreement with you. He said, "Yeah, you know, we're not in that kind of mindset yet because we've not done it. You know, we've reached a final." I looked at Spurs when we played them, and you know, they got to the final and they were like, "Oh, we got a chance of winning." And I've never been more confident for a game of football in my life because I said, you have to do the groundwork first. You can't just turn up to a final and win. That's not how the Champions League works. You turn up, you know, you take your lesson and you come back stronger. Sometimes you don't if you're Spurs, but you know, Liverpool have turned up to finals. Look at how many finals we had to lose under Klopp before we won one. You have to take them. You learn from them. And when you do get to one that matters, you know, even 18 against Madrid, oh God, that's probably the worst I've ever felt as a Liverpool fan in my life.
100%.
Look how we came back and thought, nah, fuck this. We did so much to get to that final. We worked so hard in the knockout round.
There was a lot of emotion in that final.
We were just an absolute machine for the next year, won the Champions League. And because we're in that kind of such mentality monster focus, we didn't stop and then we won the Prem as well. So you have to do the groundwork. And I agree. I think Man City are very, very close.
Yeah.
Very close. This could be the first year that a first winner wins it for a long time. But
if they win it,
I think it's an English team.
If they win it, big problems because the setup behind the scenes, everything's set up for domination.
It's like the Bulls, isn't it? Dynasty, you get it once and you dominate for years.
And that's the thing. If Manchester City do get over the finish line and actually win one, I think they've got the setup to do back-to-back Champions Leagues, and that's imagine that they do like a Real Madrid kind of dynasty where they go on and Manchester City are talking about like La Decima and shit like that. Can you fucking imagine?
Oh God!
But
they'll get one first.
no, but this is what I'm saying, and I just think from my perspective, you talk about like the mentality monsters and that kind of thing. There, I honestly feel like the pain and hurt from last season, is oozing through those players. Every single one of those players, especially Mo Salah, is in killer mode. They are in killer mode. Like it's literally like, yes, we're gonna have blips. West Ham was a blip. Yeah, it was a blip. You're gonna have that in any Premier League season. But look at the response against Arsenal. It was emphatic.
I called it. We need to get on Lee Judge's TV. I almost went for 4. I did say 3 Mane, Jota, Salah.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Did I say something? Should be like 4-1 or something.
You said 3-1. So
did I say 3-1? It's 3-1.
I said 3-0, and I was going to go for 4, but I didn't want to be mean to Lee because he's a very nice man.
But this is just it. And I know we're talking about the Champions League, but this is just it. I feel that Liverpool, and again, hashtag it. I called it early doors. This is the revenge tour. It is the revenge tour. It is literally like, right, who dished it out to us last season? Because you're gonna get it this year. You're gonna get it. We are out here. Every game we go into, we're trying to prove a point. Now, Chelsea are in a decent run of games where they're not really playing anybody of any magnitude. Heading into January, and as I said, it's a Champions League show, so we don't want to get too much into the Premier League because we'll spoil what we have coming up on Friday. But Chelsea season surrounding Champions League football, surrounding Premier League football, could really start to unravel after January, because that's when they start to get into the thick of playing teams like us again. So I don't really feel that we're displaced in the Champions League. I don't feel that we're necessarily displaced in the Premier League. You've then got the fact that we're in the quarters of the League Cup. We're going to play a Leicester, which arguably are faltering at the moment. Yeah, were they finalists last year? Was Leicester?
I'm not sure.
Or were they semi-finalists? Sure. They got far in the competition.
Man City won it, put it that way.
Yeah. They got.
I think Leicester won the FA Cup, didn't they?
Was it FA Cup they won? Okay, right. So they got to a final of a cup competition last year. So the cup competition could present some respite for them, based on their league form, which is they're 11th in the league at the moment. You know, and playing some shit football, to be honest. I don't think the Manchester United speculation has done Brendan Rodgers any good.
No,
really. It's kind of put a bit of unrest and unfocusing the team. But from that perspective, I feel that Liverpool are very well placed to have a great European season in general, and have a great season in general.
I think it's really difficult because of the competitiveness of the Premier League for an English team to win the Prem and the Champions League. And I know we had 2 finalists last year, but in a COVID season, the 2 teams with the biggest, best, deepest squads in Europe reached the Champions League final. One won the Prem, and one won the European Cup. So I think this year, with everybody kind of, apart from us, having a fully strength squad, I think it will be difficult for an English team to win both. The reason that I lean towards the Champions League for Liverpool more than the Prem is the African Nations Cup in January. If we are missing Mane and Salah for 4 or 5 Premier League matches, for me, that's the league done. Champions League comes back in February, when both of them, I think, will be back, or it will be touch and go depending on the dates. But if they get to the African Nations Cup final, etc. But that's why I think, I think we'll lose ground in January without those 2. I think that's only natural. I think Jota and Firmino are brilliant players, but they're not Salah, and Mane is scoring lots of goals as well. So time the Champions League comes back round again, I think that will be the more realistic trophy to go for, because let's be honest, if Liverpool were looking in February and they're 11 points behind Chelsea, but we're in the Champions League last 16, they're going to prioritise the Champions League, aren't they?
Yeah, I agree with you. You're right. Depending on where we stand at that point, we will obviously we'll prioritize the Champions League because we want to get something out of that season. I
Absolutely.
mean, looking at the fixtures
Mm,
for in terms of Premier League, we go to Chelsea on the 2nd of January. We then got Brentford on the 15th of January, and then Palace on the 23rd, and then um, on the 9th of February, we've then got Leicester.
mm.
So you look at that
Yeah,
respectfully.
could be worse.
Do you know what I mean? And I know Brentford. You know, we had a bit of a sticky time at Brentford, whatever not. And again, respect to Brentford because they remind me of like the Leeds of last season. They're
Yeah,
just all out attack, which is good. Crystal Palace are playing some decent football under Vieira,
yeah.
but I'm sorry, like apart from Chelsea, I want maximum points. Fuck it. Even with Chelsea, I want maximum points. And then Champions League kicks back in February. There's no reason why we can't have decent league form, which then sets us up for decent European form. Because
Mm.
normally you'd say that the normal thing is that your league form translates into European form. Obviously, occasionally there's that anomaly where we finished outside of the Champions League positions and done had a great Champions League winning season. Chelsea did the same thing as well, finished horrendously bad outside of Champions League spots, but then went on to lift the trophy. So it can happen. There are some anomalies in that, but
Yeah.
normally your league form sets pace for European form. So I feel that the squad that we have in place, pending maybe any arrivals in January.
Oh, I think it's the opposite, mate. I think it's pending any injuries because you say Mane and Salah aren't and Keita aren't here. You're used to Keita not being here anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's say Jota gets an injury, say Firmino gets an injury, and we're already without Mane and Salah. Suddenly, Crystal Palace and Brentford, you're thinking who's going to score us a goal? So hopefully those two. I mean, those two have to stay fit for 6 weeks, don't they? Otherwise, we're in serious poop.
Yeah, I agree, and I honestly I feel like we get one in January. I think that we get one in. I think we get one body in January in that striking position. Um, famous last words.
I'll take a cheeky Vlahovic at Fiorentina. He might start getting a bit of European football come January.
I don't think it will be him. I don't think it would be him. I think it would. I think it would be someone who's not cup tied.
He wouldn't be cup tied because he's at
Is he
Fiorentina.
playing? Is he playing any? Is he playing like Europa League or anything?
It doesn't work that way. So if you
Does
play
it not?
Europa, you're not cup tied to go up, but you are cup tied to go
To
down.
go down, right? Okay. My bad. My bad. But again, I don't see us
Or they
getting
might even have
Vlahovic.
removed it now. I think they actually removed the entire cup tie rule
Oh,
actually
have they?
recently. Yeah.
I can't see us getting. I can't see us getting Vlahovic. Do you know? Do you know who? Do you know who I reckon will sign? I think it will be Adama Traore.
Oh, bloody hell. And that's the end of the show, guys. Thanks so much for joining us at the Red Sea. We were not going to win any trophies this season, so you might as well not bother with the rest of the season. Oh, dearie me. Now, there's some good stuff in the comments. Big shout out to Ryan Mental and Ultra Freestyle Swordsman who are consistently in the chat. I'm
God, can
gonna
you
I'm gonna
imagine?
I'm gonna throw a couple of questions at you that I've seen pop up, mate, and get your thoughts on them. Man United versus Chelsea at the weekend. Are we Man United fans for the weekend?
Oh God. I don't I don't know what I want to see, right? I don't know what I want to see. I don't know if I want to see more misery heaped on Manchester United or if I want to see them react and do us a favor. To be fair,
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, can I not comment on this? Can I do what Klopp did
I
in
mean,
the interview and be like, I'm not ready for this question?
yeah, I think no matter what we want to happen, I think that's a pretty obvious win for Chelsea currently. I mean, I
I
know.
I don't I don't know because what you have to bear in mind and what we have to bear in mind that currently, regardless of what we think of Manchester United, they have in their ranks one of the greatest players ever.
Mm.
They have, do you know what? If not the greatest ever. Like
Mm.
for all my hate and despise of Manchester United, I like Cristiano Ronaldo. I am a Ronaldo fan over a Messi
Yeah,
fan.
me
I,
too.
I am a Ronaldo fan over a Messi fan. I like Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of the way he plays the game, power, aggression, attacking prowess.
Mm.
You know, the freak of nature he is, the physical specimen that he is. That for me is what football's about. Like, I respect Messi and Messi's
Yeah,
game,
me
but
too.
I am a Ronaldo fan. So any game that Manchester United go into, I am always acutely aware that whilst the opposition may look stronger on paper, that man has a different plan in his
Yeah.
head. Yeah. What the way you think the game's gonna go is not how he thinks the game's gonna go. And normally what happens is how he thinks it's gonna go, that's how it fucking goes. That's why he's the greatest of all time. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, there's more good comments in there, which I'll get to in a sec. But Messi's just scored his first domestic goal for PSG. We're in November, guys. PSG's French is a farmers' league. Let's be fair. What other French team does anything outside of in Europe? No one does.
Messi struggling to bag. It says it all
And
for me.
Ronaldo's reinvented himself, 3 or 4 times at 3 or 4 different teams in different leagues, and
He's the
continues
greatest.
to be the best striker, the best goal scorer in that division. And obviously, coming to the Prem at 36 with Mo Salah, it's very difficult to be the top goal scorer in the league. But I think he's still United's top goal scorer. So no, fair play. And I agree. My brother Samuel, he's a Man United fan, and he's grown up with Ronaldo, and I've kind of heard more about him through him. And I've always thought that Ronaldo was the better player. If you want a player to win you a game, a big game, Ronaldo's the guy for me. I think Messi can do things that Ronaldo can't. I think Ronaldo can do things that Messi can't. So a straight comparison between someone that's 5'7" and 6'1" isn't always fair, but that's why I think it comes down to personal preference. And for me, and clearly for you, someone that's an absolute unit, specimen, in his time, one of the fastest players in the world,
Freak of nature.
one of the greatest goal scorers we will ever see. And
Yeah. The records are insane.
I don't think we will see a better player in our lifetime.
Yeah, the records are insane. I look at Haaland, I look at Mbappe, they have attributes, but I don't look at them and see that. And again, they are older than Ronaldo was when Ronaldo burst onto the scene. Yeah. So they're further along in their physical development than Ronaldo was. And I look at Ronaldo and I think to myself, fucking hell, man, you're a beast.
Just good job he's at United, isn't it?
Mate,
Not City.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Regardless, I look at that and I think you are an animal. Do you know what I mean? You are an animal. Just he personifies focus, determination, hard work, graft. If you are a young player, and we're sitting here eulogizing about Cristiano Ronaldo on a Liverpool podcast, but we have an appreciation for football. We're not going to sit here and never be biased about the facts. Yeah,
absolutely.
If you are a young player, yeah, and you're asking, what have I got to do to get to the very top of the game? Yeah, I would challenge you and just throw the Ronaldo blueprint at you and say, follow that step by step, and trust me, you'll make it.
Yeah, I mean, my son is a Chelsea fan, and he's currently reading. There's these really good series of books. They're kind of all about the top players in the world, but they're kind of done in a child way, kind of anything from 8 to 15. And he's read through the Ronaldo one, and he said he loves it. And he's read about Messi, and they're really, really good. So if you search them on Amazon, they're great. But mate, we've been looking for this for a while. This comment, I thought I might leave that one with you. Right, and Ultra Swordsman. We need some mods, don't we?
We do. Guys, hit us in the DMs. Because I'm sure we can get you guys on as mods. So hit us up in the DMs. You know where we're at.
Even as guests, I think Ryan Mental says he fancies coming on a Fab 4, and absolutely, let's get some. We're always looking for guests, aren't we? People to come on, and definitely for mods as well. We really need them.
Yeah, hit us up in the DMs. Any more questions for
Yeah, there was
me?
another good one. I will find it, but the question was, where do you think Real Madrid and Barcelona would finish in the Premier League? I thought that was a really interesting one.
what
You know, they're not playing Osasuna and
what
Alaves every week.
currently or at their prime?
I would say this season, if they were in the Premier League this season, where would they be? Oh, there it is. Great question from Ryan Mental.
If they were in the Premier League this season, where would they be? They're not finishing in the European places.
Ooh.
They're not finishing in the European places. Because the Premier League is too strong. The Premier League is too strong. It like West Ham is an example of how strong the Premier League is right now. Yeah, you look at that West Ham team sheet, and if you put that West Ham team sheet next to the Real Madrid team sheet, yeah, and said, right, to anybody that doesn't really know football, and go, who do you reckon's gonna win that game? They're gonna go, but they've got Modric, they've got Kroos, they've got Benzema.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they've got Courtois in goal. They've got Alaba in defence. Oh my, wow. It's got to be them. West Ham are dishing out smoke for fun. West Ham are dishing out smoke for fun. Yeah. So I'm not sitting here saying that West Ham would beat Real Madrid, but what I am saying, over 38 games, I think West Ham have the ability to be so consistent, in the Premier League at the moment, that they could finish above them.
I think it's the competitiveness, isn't it, of the league? Because you look at, I don't know, obviously the French league is an obvious one, but I think even the Liga, really, it's been 3 teams for quite a while, and most seasons I've seen in Spain, one of those 3 have a shocker. So this year it's Barca's 10. So really, it's only really 2 usually going for the title, and every week, apart from when they play each other, you expect to win. But you know, like you say, West Ham beat Liverpool, but then Wolves beat West Ham. There's every single week in the Premier League, you are faced with a tricky trip. You know, I know Man United aren't in the greatest form, but Watford beat them 4-1. You know, Leicester had a great season last year, and this season can't buy a win because the Premier League is relentless. If you go on a bad run, there's no easy game that comes along and you go, oh, at least we can win that one. Because even Norwich and Newcastle maybe, but sorry, David, if you're still watching. But even they will start to pick it up. You know, Norwich have got a couple of wins now. Newcastle are going to start to get some points as well. It's an interesting one. I don't think that they would come above City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. I think 4th and 5th would be where I'd put them both. I mean, this Madrid at least. Barca are shocking at the minute.
This is a funny one. Benzema's cold. Listen, Benzema is icy. Yeah, he's got ice flowing through his veins. He is what I refer to as a killer. Yeah, he is a contract hitman. Yeah, Benzema is like sensational. But yeah, let's be very, very clear. The demands of the Premier League are very, very different to the demands of La Liga. You're like, I'm not saying that Benzema couldn't do this. Yeah, he potentially could, but you're coming up against, okay, look, the new age explanation is, can you do it on a windy night in Burnley?
It's not a nice evening with a sangria, is it, over here?
That's what I'm saying. Can you do it on a windy night in Burnley? Yeah. It's the Premier League gets techie. Let's be very clear. It gets techie. It's not like La Liga. There's another one in here as well. This is a good one. Let me flip it round. Where do you think West Ham finish in the league? I reckon West Ham win the Liga because it's in the mud. It's in the fucking mud.
I think they come probably 3rd, 4th, something like that.
Yeah, 4th or 5th they'd come because La Liga's in the fucking mud. All right, do you know what? We'll shout this one as well. I'm liking this little Q&A we're doing here as well.
I'm liking it. It's nice.
We like this. What do you think? What do you think about Gerrard's first win? Look, we don't want to spoil any future shows.
Yeah, we're going to get into that
because we're going to get into that at a later date. But do you know what? Let's touch on it. I mean, new manager bounce. Yeah, new manager bounce. Always, and you can see what Gerrard's going to bring is sheer passion, grit, determination, know-how to win. Yeah.
Mm.
So the know how to win, because he's been there. He's achieved something that a lot of players will, certainly for Aston Villa, will never achieve.
Yeah.
And also, when you're in the, if you're a Villa player, yeah, and you're in the, if you're who's their wee Scotsman,
I'll begin.
McGinn. if you're
We were
if
linked,
you're
weren't we? 50 mil, weren't we, in the summer on a transfer Tuesday?
Oh, sweet Jesus! If you're, no, but again, look, I'll go back to what I said to that. I see why we were linked. But if you're McGinn, right, and you're going into training every single day,
Mm.
yeah, and you're seeing Steven Gerrard,
Yeah.
yeah, your game is only going to improve. Yeah, your game is only going to improve. If he can pick up, you know, if he could sniff Steven Gerrard's right sock and get an element of what Steven Gerrard had in that right boot in his game, he will be a 10 times better player. So for me personally, it's a good thing, Steven Gerrard being at Villa. What it does do though, is it opens up this Pandora's box of his contract finishes in 2024. Klopp's contract finishes in 2024. Is Steven Gerrard our next manager? Oh my God, euphoria. I'm really, really sorry, guys. I might
You're not a
maybe
fan of this, are you?
I'm not a fan in the fucking slightest. I'm not a fan in the slightest. I want that man nowhere near our football club as a manager ever. Period. I'm never going to get behind it. I'm never going to peddle this agenda. I'm never gonna push this agenda that Steven Gerrard should be and will be the next Liverpool manager. Unfortunately, I think there's some kind of inevitability about it, but I'm not for it. Because for one reason and one reason only. I don't belong or subscribe to the millennial fan base agenda. Yeah, I don't subscribe to it. The millennial fan does not understand what it is like to have legends of that magnitude, yeah, or at your club, and currently moving into that transition in their careers. That our current legend at our club, living legend, playing legend, is Mohamed Salah. Yeah, that's how it is. The millennial fans, they know Torres to a degree. They know Suarez to a degree. Yeah. But they don't know Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard is right at the back end of that. Yeah. My eldest son knows snippets of Steven Gerrard. Yeah. Little bits of Steven Gerrard. My middle son, there's 4 years between them. No, excuse me, 3 years between them. Yeah. He knows nothing about Steven Gerrard. The only person that you could tell you about is Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah. Yeah. That's all he really, and Alisson Becker and players like that's all he really knows. So the problem is that these fans, if he was to lose 5 games consecutively as a Liverpool manager, yeah, not saying that Liverpool are this type of club, but there would be calls for his head. There'd be calls for his head. Look at what Manchester United have just done to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's one of their legends. They talk about him as being a legend of the club. Oh, he won us the Champions League with that little flick onto the back net in against Bayern Munich, and oh, he's a legend. He's won XYZ amount of Premier Leagues. Look at the way your fan base were talking about your legend. I just couldn't put Steven Gerrard in that firing line. I couldn't do it.
I think that you're 50% right, and I'm going to disagree with 50% of it. So 50% of it is you're spot on. You don't just get the job because of your name. You have to earn it by a managerial record, not because you're a legend. The link to Liverpool will always help. So if there's 2 really good manager candidates and one of them's Gerrard, that might get him over the line. But Ollie's gone in there as a Cardiff failure and a Mulder Norwegian League winner. Yeah. So destined to fail because he's got nothing to fall back on. You can't be like, well, look at what he did at Madrid. You know, he had a bad start, but he smashed it later. So that gives them credit. He had no credit. Gerrard has physically said to everybody, I don't just get the Liverpool job because I'm Steven Gerrard. I have to earn it. I've done okay at Liverpool under 18s. Doesn't mean a thing in the real world. I've gone to Rangers and I've won 1 league title. I've got to beat 1 team realistically. I could win the league with Rangers as manager if Celtic have a bad year. It's not hard. He's now come to Villa. This is his very, very first proper challenge as a manager. I could even see him having a job between Villa and Liverpool, potentially.
Mm,
There's no
mm,
rush. He doesn't have to become the Liverpool manager in 3 years. Klopp might sign a new 3-year deal. He's not exactly old. So let's see what he does at Villa. Great first win in the comments against a Brighton side that are doing well. But the aim for this season is mid-table, I would say, for Villa, or stay up at worst. Next year, they're going to be looking at top half. Can we sneak a Europa League, Conference League spot?
Yeah.
And depending on the finances, could they then start to push for a consistent top 6, top 5 position? It's going to be extremely difficult. But if Gerrard wins a cup, sneaks a 4th spot like Leicester might have done if they wouldn't have got it the last couple of years, I think that is what will earn him that next job. It depends where Liverpool are as a club in 3-4 years' time. Is there a big rebuild to do? Have they fallen off it? Have they won everything in their path? Because if Klopp goes tomorrow, we don't pick Gerrard. We pick the next best candidate for that role. If in 2 years' time Klopp goes, we're probably not picking Gerrard based off coming 12th and 8th with Aston Villa. Let's be fair. So I agree with you 100% on I don't want him coming in without the credentials, but where I would like to see him come in is once he's earned it.
I just think that, look, and this I don't like this as well. I don't subscribe to this as well. Number twos don't make great number ones. Steve McLaren being an example, Carlos Queiroz being an example. The list goes on. Number twos don't make great number ones. You're a number 2 for a reason, so stay there. My thing is personally with the Gerrard thing, is that there's some of these in here as well, legends can also do it well. Look at Hansi Flick, look at Guardiola, look at Conte. I know, and I totally understand that. I totally understand that. But the key thing with those managers there, they are from a different country. The way that their fan groups are set up are very, very different. Guardiola being an example with Barcelona. Guardiola he worked with those players in the B team. He worked, so he had a lot of time with those players. Guardiola was a student of the game, in terms of he spent time with probably, and this isn't a discredit or disservice to Steven Gerrard, but Guardiola spent time with probably one of the most respected, one of the best footballing brains, in Johan Cruyff. Johan Cruyff developed a whole footballing philosophy. It's very, very different. Johan Cruyff is lauded as one of the best footballing minds ever to exist. Ever to exist. So Guardiola's tutelage and path to success, plus the fact that he's Catalonian, is very, very different to Steven Gerrard in that respect. So Guardiola never left Barcelona to a degree. He never left that kind of structure. He played like MLS later on in his career, or like Mexico or something. I can't remember. He played wherever later on in his career just to prolong his career a little bit. But after that, he was at Liverpool. At Barcelona. He was there, like around everything, loads of time around Johan Cruyff. Like there's stories of Guardiola like literally following Johan Cruyff like a lapdog, just to suck up every bit of information he potentially could. And it's manifested in the way that Guardiola plays his football. That's Johan Cruyff, like the new version of Johan Cruyff. Everything he does is like Cruyff. So that's an amazing learning path that he's been on. Hansi Flick's another one. That they're just the European fans are built differently to the Premier League fans. They're just built differently. And I feel that those managers were given more time to let that manifest. Is he going to get the same time at Liverpool where Liverpool are at the moment? Because where Liverpool are at, and we were just talking about this now. Like, you think about our previous conversation about what our expectations are. We're saying, listen, this season we either need Champions League or Premier League.
Yes, one of the two.
Whereas 10 years ago, we're saying, we need to qualify. Do you know what I mean? The expectations are different.
It's totally different culture, isn't it? Because you mentioned Guardiola in the what do they call it? The what is it? The youth team, something like that in
Oh, La
Barcelona.
Masa.
Yeah, the Massa. Yeah. So he comes through there,
Yeah.
and he has a class of 92, basically,
Yeah,
doesn't he? He
100%.
has the best Barcelona youth team they've ever had. He brings through about 7 of them as first team players, and
Messi,
it
Xavi,
makes sense.
Iniesta.
It makes sense to bring the manager that's just had them
Busquets.
for 2. Yeah, Busquets. So the manager that's had them from 15 to 18 is now taking them into the first team. He's already a legend of Barcelona. And let's be fair, there are exceptions, but there's probably four of the last 10 Barcelona managers I've never heard of in my life. They just get random people from Argentina. They don't always go for the big name at Barcelona. You know, Madrid do, but Barca just bring in these guys that fit the philosophy, fit the program, not necessarily let's get Ancelotti because he's won stuff. So I think, in terms of Barcelona, they like their own. That's why they've gone and got Xavi. It's like Liverpool making Gerrard manager now, going to get Xavi. What's he done? Oh, he's managed in an Arabian league and won the league unbeaten. Wow. Okay, good effort. You went to the World Club Championship and got palmed off by a Mexican side. It's not hard. So I agree with you. Liverpool and English fans are just different. They want success. They want somebody coming in that they've heard of, that's won elsewhere, that's got credentials. And you see the mistake with Lampard going to Chelsea. Great name in a playing career. Done absolutely sod all as a manager. Comes in. Yeah, this is great. We've got Lampard. Oh, we're not in the top 4. Oh, we don't really want you anymore.
Well, this is it. Chelsea fans, and I remember having this conversation with Chelsea fans about this. They were so fixed on the fact that they wouldn't sack him.
Yeah.
I was like, are you lot stupid? I was like, and my expression was, you have an owner in trigger Roman Abramovich. Yeah. why are you going to change? And this is it. Chelsea have had success from sacking managers. They've had success from it. It's in their culture. It's ingrained in their recent culture. Sack the manager, we win something. Yeah. And they're never going to change a habit of a lifetime. I don't care who you are. At Chelsea, there is no manager, and credit to them because it's worked. Like I can't sit here and criticize it. I'm not criticizing it. Let's be clear. But at Chelsea, anyone can get it. Anyone can get sacked. Anyone.
Well, look at
Even
Tuchel.
your club legend.
He's won the Champions League last year. Say he wins the Premier League this year.
Yeah.
If they finish 9th next year, he's gone.
He's gone. He's getting sacked. You ain't getting no credit in the bank. Roberto Di Matteo is another one. He's a club legend. He won you the Champions League. You sacked him 3 months later. Like Chelsea don't play.
No.
Yeah? And I feel that now the way that Premier League teams are set up and the owners are set up, there's this element of how can we get the fans back on side, because they're so pissed off at us about our failings and shortcomings as owners. And FSG have had some failings and shortcomings as owners. I know what we'll do. We'll get an ex-club legend as a sacrificial lamb. It will buy us 6 or 7 months.
They did it with Dalglish, didn't they?
100%. We'll get an ex-club legend as a sacrificial lamb. That will get us maybe 6 or 7 months of the supporters being on our side and calm down and being all happy and clappy. That will give us time to kind of force our agenda in other ways. But then when he falters, all the fans will want him sacked. So we'll sack him,
and then we look like heroes.
And then we look like heroes, and then we'll go and get a new manager. Not my legend. You're not doing that to my legend. You're not doing that to my legend. And that's my thing. I will not let this ownership group, and again, with respect to FSG, I'm not FSG in, I'm not FSG out. I've always said that. Yeah, I'm FSG, step the fuck up. That's my role, in my thoughts on this. But I will not let this ownership group use my legend, the man that made it cool for me to support Liverpool Football Club. The one thing as a child growing up supporting Liverpool that I had to be proud of, the one thing I had to be proud of, Liverpool is shit, but we got Steven Gerrard. What now? Do you see what I'm saying? I won't let this ownership group do that. I personally couldn't sit here and get behind that. That would hurt me, like deep down. That's why I'm not on this whole Liverpool agenda, because I think
that's exactly it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think if Gerrard comes into a mess and they just pick him because they know the Liverpool fans will get off their back, then 100% the wrong appointment.
Yeah.
If he comes in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years time, and we're doing what we're doing now, winning the league once every 2-3 years, for example, hopefully that will be what we're doing now. getting to the Champions League semi-final, quarter-final, finals, then if he's proven himself, 100% get him in. But yeah, you don't want him to be in the door. You know, his whole life is based around hopefully managing Liverpool one day. Lampard got it probably 5 years, 6 years, 7 years too early. Give it to him when he's ready and give it to him when it makes sense, not to get you out of trouble.
But I'm going to predict this. I'm going to predict this now. I'm going to predict it. Yeah.
Oh, good question. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to predict this now, just before we move on to this one, and clip it. Yeah.
Okay.
If Tuchel gets sacked, yeah, Chelsea appoint John Terry. I'm going to clip it. Clip it now. If he falters in the next 2 years, yeah, they appoint John Terry. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you. That's what they do. That's what they go and do, because it will give them. It buys them time. What owners do now is they're into this nostalgic appointments. Yeah, Koeman at Barcelona.
Yeah,
it was a nostalgic appointment. Yeah, Ancelotti back at Real Madrid. It was a nostalgic appointment. They've done it because they're like, yeah, shit, we need to get the owners, we need to get the fans off our back. How do we do that? Hansi Flick at Bayern. It was a nostalgic appointment. Yeah. What it did was it gave them, yes, they had amazing success in that period of time, but it got the fan group off their back. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. Yeah. Lampard previously at Chelsea. Arteta at Arsenal. And I'm not being funny. At that point, there was better managers available to these clubs, but they've done it to get the fan groups off their backs. Simple as that. And as I said, I say it again, you are not doing that to my legend. Anyway, who would you have as an ideal candidate then? I'm loving this Q&A.
I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to edit the title of the video and put "and Q&A" at the end.
Me personally, I can't even bear to think about it. There isn't like you think what we've got currently. We've got the best manager in world football at the moment. If he's not the best, he's one of the best in world football currently. Where do you go from that? That's my question to you. Where do you go from that? Because it's only downhill from that. It's only downhill.
This is really, really difficult because
it is. It's only downhill.
In the past, Liverpool haven't been a top table team. Let's be fair. So,
nope.
You know, you look at Brendan Rodgers coming in. We wouldn't touch Brendan Rodgers after Klopp because we're way past that now. So we are looking at
not with a barge pole.
No, we're looking at elite managers now. And if Gerrard is not an elite manager by the time we need one, he will not be the manager of Liverpool FC. So it's a very small bracket because most elite managers are in jobs with elite teams. You look at Man United. I know they're not in great form, but they are an elite club in terms of the money that they spend, not in terms of what they've won recently, but they are going to be now, you know, they've done what you said. They've had the Ollie, but now they want the Mourinho and they want the big name. They want the Pochettino.
But they can't get it because they're none available.
Absolutely. So who do we go for? You know, if Klopp leaves in 2024, I think it's pretty slim pickings. If he stays on a bit longer, one of those elite managers hopefully would be available, or Gerrard may be at that standard by then. But it's the thing that I struggle with the most.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
you just said it there. That's the problem. It's slim pickings. Who is
slim pickings? But even more slim, we now have this style, this culture that Jurgen Klopp was literally made for Liverpool. His style is our style. His passion is the same as the Klopp. How many other managers out there are like him? And I look at Simeone, and he is passionate, but totally in the opposite way, in the wrong way, not a Liverpool way. So you've already narrowed it down to elite managers. Now you want someone to continue the style that we've built on. I don't know if there is one at the moment.
And that's the problem. This is why I feel like, as much as I don't want it, this is why we're going to be railroaded into the Gerrard appointment, because there isn't anybody there.
Right.
After Jurgen Klopp, who? I'm sorry, who are you? Like, okay, look, Guardiola. Do you know what? I would take Guardiola, but it means a whole new style, philosophy, a whole new everything. It means a whole new everything. It's a total switch from what we are at the moment. It means you need to have funds. It means you need to be geared up in a way, that success is the only option. Yeah. Guardiola will not suffer fools. He's not that type of manager. Look at his time at Bayern Munich. Yeah, and I rate Guardiola. Yeah, but at Bayern, he didn't achieve what he went there to achieve, which was
No.
win the Champions League. He didn't win the Champions League. Bayern brought him in to win the Champions. They had the league wrapped up every single year. They brought him there to win the Champions League. But what Guardiola did do when he was in Germany, yeah, was bring a whole different style of playing. So he done something bigger than what was Bayern. He altered the face of German football. Yeah,
I agree.
Which is a massive achievement. But really, your assignment was to win the Champions League, and you didn't do it, bro. Yeah. So let's be clear about that. You didn't do it, right? So where do we go from that? You can't come on, guys, like help me out. Where do you go from that? There isn't anywhere to go. So I am praying, yeah, on my knees, right, that he signs an extension. He has to sign an extension because I personally can't even think of any up and coming managers now, apart from potentially Nagelsmann, that would fit that mold for me. And previously, I would have gone Tuchel.
Yeah,
I would have said Tuchel, but I can't have him now because he's managed them scumbags. So
I think with Liverpool, you can't. You look at Tottenham; they just take anyone that's ever been at Chelsea and done anything successfully, and see if they can do it there. But if you've been at a top 6 club for more than 3 years, it's quite rare that you'd go to a different English club and start all over again with what you've been trying to do with the other teams. So once they've got that kind of team on their CV, I don't feel Liverpool would go for them. So that writes off a fair few elite managers because we're pretty spoiled in this country, aren't we? So I agree. I think the only way we do it, Klopp signs an extension maybe to 2026, 2027, something like that. By then, has Gerrard moved on potentially even from Aston Villa and become an elite manager maybe abroad? And then can he come home and take over Liverpool with that same club philosophy?
There's so much if there. There's so much.
There's a hell of a lot of if. Yeah.
this is relying. And don't get me wrong. Like I'm not going to sit here and I'm not being funny. Yeah, I'm going to go and buy an Aston Villa top and I'm going to get Gerrard put on the back. I'm going to do it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm here for it. Yeah,
sound like PK.
I'm here for it because I love that man. Like I love him. Yeah, like honestly, like every happy or most of the happy moments bar recent years that I have as a Liverpool fan all involve him.
Yeah.
Even when we were losing games, there was moments in games which I remember that he's been part of, and you're like, fucking hell, that was sick. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm 110% behind him, yeah. But what it does do is it's relying on him. We're relying to a degree. We're relying on him as a fan base, as a club, you know, kind of inadvertently, yeah, to go out and achieve. Because let's put it this way, yeah. Let's say that Klopp leaves and we do appoint Pep Linders, and it's going. I know I'm not a fan, but let's say we do that. Let's say we make that step, yeah. Pep Linders to the Liverpool fans is a fucking nobody. He's a nobody. Yeah. Like realistically, I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, as a number one, yeah.
I rate him in terms of his contributions to Liverpool at the moment. Like let's not forget, it can't be underpinned what he's doing in the background for Liverpool. It's fantastic. He's part of some of the greatest period that Liverpool has ever seen. I read an interesting news report about Borovic the Brain, who was Klopp's number 2 prior to Linders, yeah. And Pep Linders was at the club before that and asked to leave and go and pursue a managerial career, which he did, and he flunked it. He failed massively. He failed. He came back to the club, and Borovic, so rumored to have it, became very jealous of Linders' influence and his relationship with everybody else around the club because he'd been there before, and Borovic got a bit jealous and whatever not. But under Borovic, we failed. We failed. Yeah. We got to a European final and we didn't get over the finish line. Yeah. Pep Linders came in and all of a sudden, boom, sustained domination. Boom, 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 boom. It starts to tick. Yeah. We start to tick. So his influence on where we are as a club cannot be underpinned. The key thing is, like I said before, number 2s don't always make great number ones. So if we go for him and he starts to falter, yeah, the calls for Gerrard, regardless of how well Steven Gerrard's doing, Gerrard could be bottom of the league. The fan base will go, we need to get Gerrard in. We need to get Gerrard in. We need to get him in. I just can't, and it's damning and it's alarming that this is potentially where Liverpool are at, because 2024, yeah, is round the corner. You can blink and it's going to be 2024. Now, I know that we didn't necessarily want to touch on this too much because it might spoil what we got coming up for Friday, but fuck it, we're in now. Yeah? we're in like knee deep, waist deep, we're in. Yeah. Michael Edwards leaving, yeah, is ushering in the new wave of Liverpool, because Julian Ward comes in. Yeah, so we've done the Edwards decade. We're now into the Ward times. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, hold on, like Ryan Mental, big shout out to you. Yeah,
great shout, to be fair.
Paisley, Fagan, number 2, different eras. I know, guys. Listen.
That's the boot room, though. That's hard to compare that.
This is what I'm saying, and just quickly on this, where Liverpool fucked up, yeah, is they tried to go back to this boot room philosophy for too long. These men you mentioned here are gods. They are gods. Yeah, among men, they are gods. Paisley, so Shankly, Paisley, Fagan. We even tried it with Roy Evans, the boot room culture, the boot room era. The Roy Evans era had some successes in there, but it wasn't to the same magnitude of what we saw under Shankly, Paisley, Fagan. They even tried to continue that boot room culture by bringing Souness in. Yeah. And Souness had the right mentality in terms of what he wanted to do in terms of changing the culture at the club. But the club wasn't too much too soon. The club wasn't ready for that culture change. Yeah. And we faltered for so long. So this nostalgic behavior of ownership groups is rife. Like I just don't subscribe to it. We should go out and
a bit of a cop out, isn't it?
It's a cop out. We should go out and get the best available. We're Liverpool Football Club, yeah?
Yeah.
We're Liverpool Football Club. We should go out and get the best, biggest, baddest fucking manager that fits into our philosophy that's available at the time. Simple as that.
100% agree. I think we'll hopefully get into it a bit more in future shows as well. But yeah, I think you have to go for the best option. And, you know, when we got Benitez in, he was a big name. He didn't have any links to Liverpool. He changed the philosophy at Liverpool and it worked for a short time. We brought Brendan Rodgers in, which I wasn't a massive fan of, but he did bring a different style of football. He did have his successes, albeit they failed at the end. But I think it depends where you are as a club at the time. And Liverpool had lost all identity under Brendan Rodgers.
Massive.
When Klopp came in. I don't know where we were going. We lost 6-1 to Stoke on the last day of the season. We stick with the same manager. We get
the only man that scored was my fucking legend. My legend.
Exactly.
The only man that scored.
Even football itself changes. The style to win changes. Formations trump different formations, and then someone else comes up with a style that beats that. So I'm with you. I think Klopp. I can't see Klopp leaving in 2024. I think he stays.
Happen.
I think he stays.
I'm going to go 27. I'm going to go, to the AXA training ground and get on my hands and knees,
please,
and say, "Don't go." Like seriously, please don't go. Because
look how many times Fergie had to reinvent United. He made his legends. He made his amazing team. The dynasty, and then everybody got to 34, and he's like, "Let's start again," and he does it again. So I would like to see Klopp at least rebuild this team once. There's some players in there already. You've got Fabinho is not old. You've got Elliott coming through. You've got Jones is still going to be there in hopefully in a few years' time. So the blueprint is there. We need to start, we've mentioned this on previous shows. Van Dijk, Henderson, Salah, Mane, Firmino in 3-4 years' time are going to be 33, 34. You have to bring in the new breed. I would love Klopp to do that. and then pass it on to someone else, rather than a David Moyes situation who comes in with the team totally on their knees. They've won the league, but they've given you everything. They're all 35. You need to start again, and you've got 7 months with no credit in the bank to build a team that expects to win the league. And
I agree.
That's what you say with Gerrard. If he comes in that situation, that's not fair. He has to come in with a chance. And as long as he comes in with a chance, I think he'd be great.
It's funny you say that just as we start to close, because we've been on here an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and
it's
been amazing, guys. It's been amazing. This
really
Q&A is absolutely fantastic. So like, thank you for Rymental and Ultra Freestyle Swordsman who started this Q&A. Massive respect to you. But I think this ending of the Michael Edwards decade, because he's been at the club a decade. This ending of the Michael Edwards decade is going to start to usher in that new wave that you talk about. Julian Ward coming in is a start of a new era. At the club. And it's funny because there's a lot of reports coming out of the club that the two are, whilst they're very similar, there's a quirky edge to Julian Edwards. To Julian Ward. Sorry, there's a quirky edge to Julian
Edwards
Ward.
Be a good guy to have.
There's a quirky edge to Julian Ward, in terms of the way he goes about things. I also believe that Van Dijk signing a new deal, Henderson signing a new deal, Fabinho signing a new deal, Alisson Becker signing a new deal, gives us that stability for the next 4 years. Realistically, it gives us that stability whilst we start to bring through the next wave. You look at the Konate signing. That's not a signing for now. And I'm not being funny. He would, like, you look at it, he was starting week in, week out for Leipzig, playing in the Champions League, challenging for the Bundesliga title, going up against arguably the best team in German history in Bayern Munich. You don't leave that unless you have certain guarantees. He's a young player, 21. You don't leave that unless you have certain guarantees. He would have been told, listen, see that man over there, Virgil van Dijk? One day you're going to fill his boots. Because he's got all the attributes: pace, power, aggression, size, presence. Like, the guy's 21. He's still growing. He's huge.
He's enormous.
He's bigger than Virgil. Did you see how he manhandled Fred? like, get over here.
Madness. I agree. I don't think Klopp leaves before that list that you've said. I don't think, the likes of Salah, Mane, Alisson, I don't see Klopp walking away while they're still in the prime Liverpool team, the team he's built. That all that amazing team that I built, all those players I brought in that were excellent, I'm going to leave and they're going to go and win another big trophy with another manager.
Without me? No.
No, that's my team. 100%. Once this team get to the end, Klopp's got that decision. Do I do a Fergie and leave with them? They've done everything they can. I've not got the energy to rebuild. I want a sabbatical. I want to become an international manager, whatever that may be. Or do I have that 1 year where I use Ward and we rebuild this team, and then Stevie G takes it on? So that's the decision for me. I don't see 2024 as the end for Klopp.
This is an interesting one. Gerard Vieira at the weekend. Guys, we're not going to do that because we have an amazing show for you on Friday where we're going to chop that up.
Watch out for that.
Watch out for that. We're going to close because we've been here an hour and a half and it's been amazing.
It's been really fun
to you guys for an hour and a half. It's been really, really fun. Just quickly though, on that point, I think that Ultra Freestyle Swordsman, you're just pushing for this question, aren't you? let's compare Benzema to Thierry Henry. No, let's not, because Thierry Henry was sensational, but never mind. Just on the kind of the changing of the guard. I think that Klopp will start to usher that in a little bit. We talk about there's rumours about Jude Bellingham that are just not going away. They're not going away. Yeah,
be a massive signing,
mate. Is that going to be the Michael Edwards leaving present? Yeah, hit and listen on the last day of the season, or like let's say the opening day of the summer transfer market, I can see it already. The tweet, "Hey Jude, mate," it would break the internet. It will break the internet.
I think that might be a cater 12 months agreement because I don't see Haaland sticking around, and they're not going to sell Bellingham as well. Maybe 2023.
Nah, I think I told you already. I reckon Cater gets included in a swap deal.
I'd love that.
But we can obviously get onto that in the transfer Tuesdays coming up in January.
Yeah,
right. So Ryan Mental will get out of here. Right. So guys, what have we got coming up for the rest of the week? So we're obviously going to have a preview show for Southampton on Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got our very last Red Sea full time on LFC Day Trippers tomorrow after the Porto game, and then Red Sea full time is coming home. We're going to be back on our own channel with instant match reactions after every Premier League, Champions League, Cup game right here, doing your Red Sea full time. So watch out for that. Southampton will be the first one right here. Other than that, mate, like you said, coming up, Southampton preview, possibly Thursday. And then I don't know if it is this week, but at some point we're going to be doing a Premier League show, aren't we? Which I'll let you talk about.
Yeah, so guys, what we're going to be doing is we're pushing to kind of expand the content on the Red Sea podcast. Whilst we love talking everything Liverpool, we're football fans. You know, we have opinions on and want to discuss other Premier League teams. What we also want to do is bring on board other Premier League fans that want to come in and discuss their teams, and not just in preview shows when we're playing against these sides, just have a general chat about their teams. And we aim to be doing that on a Friday night. The aim is to try and get it off the ground for this Friday. We've been floating this idea for a long, long time, but things just haven't really aligned. But they're aligning now, so we're going to have a Premier League preview show on the Friday, on each and every Friday, providing it doesn't clash with our Fab 4 show. But we'll have a Premier League preview show at each and every Friday, just going around the top teams and all the teams that are playing in that game week. Which will be absolutely fantastic. As SS mentioned, Red Sea full time is coming back home. We'll be starting our match reaction shows back on the Red Sea podcast as of Saturday from that Southampton fixture as well. We're doing the Premier League games, the League Cup games, FA Cup games, Champions League games. Any game that Liverpool is involved in, we will have a Red Sea full time for that. So guys, keep your eyes peeled on everything we got going as far as the Red Sea podcast are concerned. And if you're new in here, I can see a few new names in here as well. Make sure that you are liking, subscribing, and press that bell notification so you do not miss anything that the Red Sea podcast has to offer. We are the hottest Liverpool podcast, up and coming Liverpool podcast that you've got on your screens at the moment. Last question. Oh, favorite. So what's that? Favorite player at Liverpool right now, guys? I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, you know who it was last season. Gini Wijnaldum was my guy, and it broke my heart. But who can look past Mo Salah? That's the obvious one, isn't it? But I see Trent Alexander-Arnold as a serious future captain, potentially Gerrard as manager, Trent as captain, winning the Champions League with the two Scousers in 2026 or whatever it might be. That could be pretty special.
You love fucking nostalgia, don't you?
Mate, I'm one for fairy tales.
Great. So who's my favorite? My favorite Liverpool player right now. Who do I? I've got. Can I have two?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. I love Alisson Becker. Like I love Alisson.
You'd say him.
I love Alisson Becker. Like I'm in awe of that man. Like I love Alisson Becker. The reason why I love Alisson Becker is because I have a massive appreciation for goalkeeping.
Yeah.
Because it's an art form. Yeah. The commanding presence, the being able to play out from the back, the calmness in possession, shot stopping capabilities, coming up with unrivaled saves, goals as well. Goals and assists. Alisson Becker for me is a huge one.
Yeah.
My wild card player as well is Thiago. Like, I love Thiago, but
I could have guessed both of yours.
that that's not because necessarily of what he's done in his Liverpool career. I've always loved Thiago.
Yeah.
Like watching that man play, like just pass it. And again, I like pass appreciation. I could watch him pass a ball forever. Like I could honestly, like it's just it's a beautiful thing. Different types of passes, pass selection, weight of pass. He can spray a ball. He can pop a ball off. He can play a ball round the back four. He can cut and dissect a defense. Like just the intelligence of the player as well. Back to goal, pinging the ball around. Just to look over the shoulder to see where the man is, a drop of the shoulder, the shimmy, the shake. Like it's just sexy. It's just fucking sexy. So I hope that he gets on the pitch more for Liverpool this season. We've already seen his win ratio when he plays for Liverpool is impeccable. I do believe, and I will concede a lot of that has to do with Fabinho because it allows Thiago to be higher up the pitch and affect games in the way that we want him to affect games. Fabinho is a huge part of that, but those two on the pitch is definitely part of the best Liverpool midfield that we're going to see this season. Yeah, you're sneaky. You said last question. I'll take this one. Who has a better pass, Trent or Thiago? Trent's passing ability is fucking insane. Is insane. But Thiago has a better repertoire of pass. And I'll say that because if you look at the way that he passes the ball, there's an interesting thing that Thiago talks about passing. Every pass means something. Yeah. So I'll try and find the interview and I'll put it up on my Twitter. I'll try and find it. I read it some time ago. Thiago talking about passing the ball. Every pass means something. Yeah. So if he passes the ball to you, you just look at the expression on his face and the arm as well, the way his arm flicks up. Every pass means something. So yeah, Thiago puts on passing clinics. He'll pass teams to death. But Trent, the assists are just disgusting at the moment. It's just sexy to watch.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Thiago knits things together in a busy midfield. Trent is that guy that whips the ball in from that position. You know it's coming, but you can't do anything about it.
Exactly. Yeah, you just like, how do you want to die? Like, just pick your death because it's gonna happen anyway.
I'm gonna find whoever you don't mark in the box. I'm finding him.
Yeah, it's mad. And like I said, we talk about the pass before the pass, and that's Thiago. The assist is Trent. But guys, listen, thank you for joining us on this lengthier show.
Bit of a marathon in the end.
Yeah, it was a bit of a marathon. Yeah, that's a good shot as well. Trent is the next Beckham from right back. Yeah, there's only other one man in the Premier League which I think has got a another wonderful delivery and passing technique, and that's James Ward-Prowse. I love the way he hits the ball. That's sexy. That's sexy as well.
That's fair.
To be honest. But guys, we're going because otherwise Ali A is going to throw more questions at us. Make sure you're subscribing, Ali A, because you're new. I may have seen you before in the comments, but make sure you are subscribing because you are throwing some sensational questions in there as well. Rymental and Ultra Freestyle Swordman, hit us up in the DMs if you haven't already. I'll check those. I would love to get you guys on as moderators as well. And anybody else in the comments that's interested in coming on the show at individual times, once we're looking for guests to come on in these new shows you've got planned, we'll ping messages out. Fastest finger first, we'll get you guys on.
Perfect. We'll see you next time, guys.